Yeah, they're in here to be approved.
Okay, that's right, yeah, because I want to look at those before.
Okay.
Approve the minutes. I forgot that they're in the folder, the hard copy of them. Okay. Back again, we should have got those, but I'm having a problem getting stuff on my phone. So.
I'll make sure.
Yeah, pull me. So I can keep us moving here. I want to read those, but. Okay, thank you.
Stand for pledge allegiance.
Should I wait? I'll wait.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Call the meeting order.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda for June 21st.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
I'd like just a couple minutes here to
Sure.
review these, please, before I make that.
Morning.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the minutes for June 14th. 2022.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Question. All approved?
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, meetings attended.
Say that I had any.
No, nothing to, I was visited with the county attorney and things like that, that weren't actually scheduled meeting.
I spoke at the, answered questions to a group journey at the church the other day, and a good visit. There's probably 30 more there probably.
Where was that?
Up at First Presbyterian Church.
Okay, okay.
And they had a lot of great questions. Talked about many different subjects, things happening in the county, the roads, some city things. But it was a good, a lot of great questions. Gathering up, I think we got the bids gathered up for the windows. Hopefully have that today. Sandy gets that, we get that done, work on that, get the stuff together. And also to, they thought 2 weeks, 2 more weeks from this week, air conditioning for the sheriff's office. So we're not going to beat a lot of the heat, but some of it's going to cool off again a little bit next week. So we're kind of behind the 8 ball on that, trying to get that, which comfortable out there. Apologize. Just took a while to get everything together. That's it.
Did you send that to the board?
Sent that to you.
Send it to the board.
Okay. See it. Sorry. About any input from the public? Anybody got anything this morning? Anybody?
On item 17, I made comment on that after we get to it, if that's okay.
Okay. Show me what it's at. Payroll changes, guys. There's 5,000 of them. So it's gonna take you a while to look through them.
Well, those are the ones, number 8, review county department cost of living.
There's,
Oh, is there any just regular payroll changes?
Those are the loose ones. I think that are on purchase list, maybe?
yeah, everything was in this
Oh, that's
bundle,
that, okay.
but no loose ones.
Those. So I just,
So they're all together?
yeah,
There is a difference. One is what our raise was and so on and so forth. Has there been any increases outside of that?
that's all I know. There's nothing separate.
Okay, then that's just all those.
So none of that happened. I got an email from the treasurer's office saying that there was gonna be a difference in some of her wages for her people. And I took it that was outside of the regular rate.
I don't know.
Am I right or wrong? Did you see that
I did
email?
not see those come in, but
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I know that that was, I got an email saying something like that. I didn't know exactly.
well,
what
I
that
thought
was.
one of hers had already gone through a couple weeks ago.
Well, if that's the case, then that's fine. But I thought there was some new changes. She said that she was gonna have some changes. Did you guys get that email?
Yes.
Changes with job descriptions and so on and so forth. I thought that would probably be changed before the regular increases went through.
Now, these here are all.
Just,
And those all reflect the 3%. Those don't reflect the 3%.
No, because those are not part of the wage. The stipend,
Right,
so that's
Right.
not in there.
right, okay. If that comes out of the wage line in your budget, how will that look next year when we go to give a raise?
it'll be.
The department head will just have to know what their person's wage is.
Okay.
So
Okay, no, that's okay.
It's a responsibility to know what they're paying their employees. And plus, when I had them do their spreadsheets that they turned in, I had them put that separate on their Excel spreadsheet that they sent me. So if they have a copy of that, they'll have it separated
It's
out.
separate. Okay, that's all I was asking.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Did you get it? It's just Ford at Louisa County.
I'm just trying to figure out on this phone. how to send it.
Can you send it to you and then you send it to me?
It's in PDFs. That's a good sign. Just not sure that it's in.
Oh, I got something here. Yeah, I got it.
Did it go? Yeah, don't show send or sending.
You're sharing your screen now. Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna print this. It would take me longer to figure out how not to share my screen than just print the thing.
Top secret.
We're gonna discuss it here in a little bit, so.
Maybe. Say it again.
Chairman Quigley, could I ask a question at this time? Am I allowed or not?
Well, you can, but you had a chance just a little bit ago. That's why I asked if there's any questions.
Also, my question is, if we have to want to make a comment about something on the agenda, do we have to wait till that gets to the
No.
on the agenda? So we missed our opportunity to speak.
Well, I'll give you an opportunity as long as you have it within a couple minutes.
I don't need to think of it all. Sir.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to address the board then today, on behalf of Sam Wilson. A number of years ago, this board appointed Sam to the Conservation Board. I had the privilege of working with Sam on that board for some years. I want to tell you this, that Sam has stepped up, and I think he has done above and beyond what was expected of him when he was appointed to that board. His leadership and his insistence on working on projects and completing long-term projects. There's quite a number of those long-term projects that we had on our agenda have been completed under the guidance and direction of Sam. And I want to say that I think that this board needs to look at what Sam has accomplished as what they assigned him to or appointed him to do, instead of put your personal differences forward today. I think you need to look at what Sam's done for the people of Louisa County and not put personal differences there, because this board has a history of putting personal differences when they take action. I know that personally, and you guys know what I'm talking about. It has nothing to do with accomplishments or what's been done. It's personal difference, and I ask today that you guys put those personal differences aside and look at what Sam has accomplished on that board that you appointed me to. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get your name?
Scott Heater.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, I didn't identify myself when I was just speaking. I think you did.
Okay, Kathy.
Kathy Vance, Chair of the Historic Preservation Commission. Time for you guys to sign the contract. This is the contract for the historical consultant to write the nomination for the Fairview Church. Good Lord, you know, this whole thing is so crazy. Remember, you approved that I write a grant for that, and you approved that that we go ahead and look into a nomination for the historical register. Now, I wrote the grant, I got the money. Now you have to approve the contract. Our committee has looked at the contract of Jennifer Price out of Coralville and approved that one. This is the contract. I use the state language. They provide this to me. I have her timeline in here. She should be done by next year. She's doing it for the $4,700 that I wrote the grant for. I got a $1,000 donation as well from a private citizen who's interested in this project to pay other parts. So I'm just looking for, so you have to approve, and someone has to sign. And I'm hoping that can be done today so she can start her approval.
It has approval.
You have approval. Yeah. Thank you. Well, you know, good Lord. That's all. Unless you have a question.
No. I'll make a motion that we approve the historical consultant contract for the Fairview Church.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Not all in favor?
This is an unstable copy. Could you sign this copy? Sure. You want me to scan that too?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She'll move along.
That's,
I know.
that's good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a good
When are
day.
they gonna start on the road?
Well, the roof should have been started June 1st, but I was told that, Buster, Clay, not Will, okay, who's the Buster?
The contractor.
Did he fall and hurt his hand?
Was it Will or Carl?
No, Carl.
Carl. got it, yeah. One of them
Yeah,
got
so
hurt.
Carl got hurt. Carl's doing the roof, not Will. Carl's doing the roof, got hurt. So we're a few
So
weeks
we're
off from
going.
that. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was supposed to happen. in
No,
June.
you're right. It was.
Didn't he fall off the roof?
He
like
fell.
A few years
he-
ago too?
Yeah, Rupert was.
No, that was
That's
Will.
Will.
Okay. I was gonna say.
All right, thanks.
Thanks. Payroll, it's gonna take a while to go through them payroll changes, but I like what them to.
Well, I'm working my way through.
Yeah,
It's
take your
pretty,
time.
it's pretty,
You have,
it's just 3%. And it's,
How about the number 13, the fireworks?
you got both of them?
I got both of them.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Kurt and Katie Walker fireworks permit. Oh,
What
at
date?
7759 78th Street, Wapello, and July 1st to July 4th, 2022. I'll make that motion. And then I will also, we can do them both at once, can we?
Yeah.
Make a motion that Jeff Warmstaff and Amanda Harris, July 3rd at dusk, make a motion to approve their fireworks permit.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Not all in favor?
I can hand these to him, please.
That holiday yesterday caught me off guard. I took Dad over to the bank, got him up, got him around, we signed papers, went over to the tax code. What the heck? I just, I'll get used to it. I used to got that thing getting signed in. It's okay.
No, that's just.
So.
Okay, they're trying to get the handicap to work since June 9th. They're still processing. Got there this morning, the elevator smelled like it burned up. So got them coming, and this morning, the air conditioner upstairs, they're not working. I don't know.
Oh, power switch. Well, if the belts burn off the elevator, there's something else wrong.
We've got to keep calls, they're coming. And they call the
I'd say the
She said they're
gearbox.
just closing the doors and going off.
I think the gearbox is what it's called. We had elevators that you can see now. The belt system.
But none of this could happen yesterday.
Yeah, it's Monday, why did that?
Because Tuesday is the second Monday.
Yeah, there's 5 Mondays every week.
Well, I know, there's weeks that.
Is that a notice elevator?
Okay.
See, that's a high roll.
Yeah, but how old is that though? Nobody's been there about.
They
10
were
years.
just here though. I
Yeah,
mean,
they
but
just
not
do
to
service
say,
on
but
that. They do it every year. So that's what they usually, that should be the thing that change. Something else is wrong. but Long, long time ago. Small problems become big problems. So probably not an elevator.
What goes up must come down.
Exactly.
I don't get it.
They. Yeah, that elevator at night. Hey. Oh. Yeah, thank you. Oh, Joe. Yeah, I was over there at nights, working on a project when we putting the water line in. No. You know, I was up there and I was sitting up there, and just walked out of the crawl space out of there with the old info services was crawled out of that hole, came out, elevator goes. What caused that to open up? So I went upstairs, looked around, see if anybody else went up or when I was down in the hole.
Penny.
You got a name.
Look at gallery attic windows.
Add floor doors if you'd like.
On my floor.
It is.
All right, first thing on the agenda was that, resolution.
Yep.
Agreement With. Columbus Construction.
Any way to get that in a Word document, not in a Word document.
Yeah, I'll get you the thing in the Word document, just sign, how to do all that. Because I sent you this line version. Yeah,
It will be unsigned, I get that, but we need it in Word so we can manipulate it to get it into the minutes.
it is. Yep, I will, when I get back on this, I will send you. And hopefully it'll be unlocked like those other ones I sent you before that are locked.
Actually, send it to Liz.
So we can't do that yet?
What is it?
Yeah, we got it here. She just wants it in her file.
You didn't introduce it.
Have you been in?
Well, I do need some changes. I need some money. You didn't know, Jim, there's a system where I go to the auditor's office and they write me candy.
I never got that.
Well, you know.
See, 79 Roads has candy out there too, and I'll be
That'd be nice. Okay. Times change. Things get good, kind of going on. Thing I've been meaning to mention here the last couple of weeks, and this kind of ongoing thing. We have a real problem with people throwing trash out on the 5 Mile Lane. We probably spend an hour a week and a bunch of dollars in waste disposal fees. It probably costs the county a couple $1,000 a year for people throwing trash bags out on the 5 Mile.
It's the same person.
maybe it is or isn't, we're talking about getting signs and cameras and all that, I know the West County sheriffs are investigating, so.
There's a mattress on 61, so.
Well, if it's not 61, it's not our problem.
Just saying, it's not just from LA.
Yeah, but I know, and I don't know why people do that. We find TVs in the ditch, we find recliners in the ditch and all those kind of things, but those are not as prevalent. Actually, last couple weeks ago, there was a mattress up on top of Virgin Hill, a little carpet had to be repaired. And that's all bad, but west of Wapello and the 5 Mile Lane, there is a consistent,
It's all the time.
all the time. And we have to take guys off the roads to go out and do that. Especially with hot like this, guys don't like doing that.
2 years ago, we visited.
Yeah,
About raising the fines. And I think it's something we need to look at again because it's terrible.
Mhm.
We've had several mattresses on I Avenue, probably 7 or 8 in the last year and a half. It just seems like it's not going to.
Yeah, you know what, a mattress, you may think it's free to get rid of it there, but we still have to pay to transfer station has to pay to dispose of it too, so it's not free, it's a cost, so. After that, we are moving in construction, and we've got a lot going on right now, a lot coming up, so, minor thing, we're doing crack sealing on K Road and X61. There's a bunch of random cracks there that have grass going out, so those get blown out and joint sealed. It's kind of a small thing. Work on X61 up north started Wednesday. They closed the road on Thursday, got the pipe in the ground, working on ditching. Since then, tomorrow they're going to do the first pour, the first lane there at the crossing, and then I hope to get the second pour done on Friday. So hopefully to get that, at least that concrete work done on the main road. After that, that's because their closures are coming on those 3 bridge projects. The White Way is closed today. The sign work for G28 and G44X are going to be happening this week. There will be a mill coming in later this week to take the first quarter of an inch off on a bridge deck overlay, take off the first quarter of an inch, and then you jack in around all the holes or all the bad stuff out. Okay. So that's going to happen later this week. My understanding is that G44X and G28 will remain open after that first round. And then next week, rather than jackhammering, they'll come in with a hydraulic jet and kind of power wash out all of the bad concrete. I know on the Quarry Road, 26% of that is bad. 26% of the bridge area is bad. And on the G44X, almost half of it's bad. Up on G28, somewhere in there, I don't recall. So they'll come and blow those out. Once that's done next week, those will be permanently closed. Well, not permanently closed, but temporary closed. The contractors were originally going to do them one at a time, but due to labor shortage and all that, they have a contractor coming who's going to do the washing off, so they'll all have to be closed. I talked to the contractor on that, and we agreed that they were going to focus their efforts on the Quarry Road Bridge because that's got the most heavy truck disruptions. Obviously, G44X and G28 are disruptions as well, but we had to pick one. The other thing is, so it's June 21st now. Norris has indicated that they're going to start on their asphalt on the X17 on July 44th. So it's been told the contractors, hey, let's try to get that bridge done before the other one. That's going to be a deal there. So so plan is to do that bridge and then jump up to G28 next because it's kind of short. And there's gravel road detour and G44X will be last. That's unfortunate because there's a lot of traffic there, but there's also paved routes around. All that, so that's gonna keep us busy till probably beginning of September, all those bridges on there. And then on week of July 24th, we'll begin asphalt work there too, so.
On G44, is that approach, is that still?
Yeah, we're replacing 50 to 100 feet either side of the bridge, because it's bad.
I didn't realize it was that bad. I went down there in my big truck. I went through the.
Oh,
and oh my gosh.
Well, we fixed it a bunch. No Casey plows it, and sometimes you go and hit it with your thing, and it'll trip on your lane, and it isn't good. So hopefully by September, we'll have this.
Yeah,
the process.
that's always been a bad area, right on the curve.
Yeah. So, so we got that going on. So next couple of months are just gonna be a bit busy for us. Road crews, ditching crews, crew down in Oakville doing some ditching, up and out of Junction. We have ditched the quarry gravel road. And then brought in a bunch of material and we're rocking it up now, so it should be done here in a day or two. So that's going on. Also, we hauled a bunch of dirt out of there on the X17. We've got some. I don't know if you guys have been on that, but it's like a 1-to-1 slope down there. It's 30-40 foot down, and we got some pipes washing out. Plan to get those all fixed up before we do the asphalt work. So busy there. So that's lots of construction going on. So.
'Tis the season.
Yeah, have had some complaints about K Avenue between 78 and Golf Course Road with people driving on the detours. We did order dust control for them and the DOT replacements, but they're having their supply is delayed, so they're supposed to get it today or tomorrow and get that sprayed down. So no, we've had some complaints on there because there's a lot of traffic. Because apparently people go down the thing and, oh, that detour is not for me, right? It's what we find with signs. The signs aren't for you, they're for somebody else, of course. So that's going on. I think that's all.
Yeah, let's see.
I got that. Do you want to go ahead and make that motion? This is
Anything
related
else to
to,
talk about on that?
he's got nothing more.
Nothing more on that. So hopefully, I wouldn't be surprised if they snuck in sometime before that October date to get it done.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We sign resolution 202235 for the reimbursement by Columbus Junction for the trail project.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Just let us know when the neighbors. Wallpaper down on the
Yeah.
see when people come.
Hopefully X60 won't be done in the next week. Hopefully. That works. So. Oh, and another thing going on with Corey and 17 and all that. I got notice from the DOT that all the rock for the shoulders on 78 is going to come through our plant, and then man sand for the pipes and the sand for the asphalt is coming from there. So we got 30,000 tons of material that's got to get from our employees down to 78. So it's just more
Traffic.
activity going on there. So.
Kind of surprises me that the state's adding gravel, so keep bringing it up to the side. I made a comment in 61, they don't ever add gravel, and that's why it pulls that deep.
Yeah.
You go up, you pull a truck and they have to go up on the shoulder, you think they're gonna lose their axles.
That's outside of my jurisdiction.
I know.
Love your pay grade.
Yeah, not like that, but outside of my jurisdiction anyway, so. So, all right, any questions, anything going on, complaints?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for the update.
So you'll have Sandy scan that to me.
Yep.
Hey. Get this. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at. plans right now.
Are you ready for this? Or-
I'm ready to look through it. I haven't looked through it yet.
You want to do number 14?
That's what I was just looking at, see what we can do. I got that out.
It's right here.
You got it?
You guys, or do we want to wait for,
No, I already talked to Cindy about it.
Cindy? Okay, well, I'll go ahead with it.
Okay.
Make a motion, we sign resolution 202234 to change appropriations for the 2022 budget from decreased inpatient hospital by 2,000 and increased funeral services 2,000.
I'll second that motion.
Hey, any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you.
Big tree stump removal, $1,600. How much did you take out?
It's out of the complex. There's
No, that's out there. That's
It's
right.
like 5 or 6.
Okay, okay. They grind them completely, refill them, so and so.
And they did a couple at the courthouse.
Okay, I thought they did, but I didn't know they did
They took
$1,600.
them down like 8 inches.
I was thinking maybe they didn't do $1,600. I forgot they done the work at the complex also. Okay. I got my question answered.
Yeah, you look back, I wonder how many of them, the ash board, how many trees in Wise County was devastated by them? I know I had like 15 from the apartments and the cities had, oh,
There's still trees that need removed, still big ones. But yet you get down Long River and there's a lot of trees everywhere like that.
yeah.
Now, will they get 10, 15 years old like the elms and die, or I don't know this now.
That's weird how that moved from east to west. Also, the great trees.
Okay.
Let's see that on the agenda. Let's see it.
No, I just got no. I meant to put it in 28. I was waiting to make sure that this claim there was that rural services.
I'll look through that. I miss it. I miss it.
I was gonna say that the other one. So they'll be back next week. They can rebuke and
I think it's gonna happen. Hope it does, but I.
It hasn't been my luck so far.
I don't-
Whoever can,
More like if I die
Whoever
and I
can,
don't sleep.
whoever can run the copying machine, can you make me a copy of this ambulance report? So I can have my own, please? I had a discussion a little bit about that, why the ambulance,
Don't seem like it's going away, does it?
I believe that we're probably gonna have to discuss some of that later. I think that that's gonna happen. That's all.
Yep.
They'll put it on the agenda when they, see fit, but you're sorry.
$3,000. That's probably the whole.
Yeah. I guess that. I can look at that. I guess I'm gonna have to. It wasn't expected to be that. Well, I wonder, that isn't very much for your moving big tree. We got a good deal.
See it already?
Yeah. Michael, thank you, Cindy.
And we only put regular paper in there, so it says it's out of paper, it's the legal, but it doesn't have it here. Anybody else goes to make copies?
Jim, you want to see this?
Bills,
It's not, all payroll. Anybody?
nothing major here.
Okay, the election's 48.50. And then you got other expenses too for the election. Besides that, that's just. So yeah, just trying to figure out what that election.
Well, this is all the workers,
Right.
and then the cost of publishing and
See some of that's. So the election cost is 48.50. 48.
the ballots. I'm not sure. I think those got paid on the last.
This is what the poll workers cost.
one. Basically, in the publication
Notices.
notices. So, for just the primary.
Then the ballots, there's a.
Yeah.
Or the machine rental, which is probably,
Well,
We own.
we own them, but there's the maintenance on them.
yeah.
We pay a monthly fee or yearly fee.
About every 6 months, they come and they update them.
$10 a vote.
Sandy, have you seen how the, because I don't see it on here compared to where we's at as far as the budgets of all departments do, the fuel cost. And then one I worry about is secondary roads versus the sheriff's office. 'Cause
Well, the secondary roads does not have like gas cards like the sheriff's office and everybody else does. And we're switching companies because the company we currently have is charging 5 cents a gallon for late fee because it's, I don't know, all of a sudden they just started doing that. So we're switching over to Wax and we all have our new cards, so we'll be starting with that this month. Because they don't charge that and they give us a month grace period to get it paid with our claim cycle. They're used to working in counties that do that, so.
It's a good catch.
So.
5 cents a gallon is quite good.
Yeah, especially as much as like the sheriff uses and public health.
Okay,
Hello.
You have a minute and you want to look at this while we're getting started, we can.
okay, just for payroll changes and county department, cost of the involvement review.
Yes.
And those changes that Vicky had was on the sheet for the July. It's included in that, so.
It was,
Yeah, she included it all together.
Do a motion on claims.
I asked her.
okay,
It was in, mixed in with the big bundle.
Yes.
Well, her 3% and the change that she made was all on the same
Same
sheet.
sheet.
Okay,
did they explain the change and this or that? I guess I don't have to know it, but
No, but it showed that they went to a different position.
it did show that the difference,
Yeah.
because what we did was change from, was Tammy not the first deputy, right? Somebody else took that position, so as everybody went up in scale, their positions all changed, is that correct? Okay,
well, with that then, I'll make a motion to approve the claims.
okay, I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. You need the number?
Okay.
550,257.25. 550,257.25. Thank you. Okay.
you ask me to put this on there? Because it's not on the agenda.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh. Yeah, I thought we talked about it, but that's okay.
I-
It can wait till next week. We'll talk about
We
it
can
today and it
discuss
can
it.
go on next week.
Okay, sorry, because, yeah, I don't.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's not sad because you waited for this for. quite a
I just
while.
got it. Well, that's only I'll talk about it in a minute. You ready?
Yeah, not to go ahead.
Oh, okay. So what I gave you is, it's just what the Army Corps of Engineers is asking for. This is a resolution authorizing the lease of Weikert's Landing from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So our lease ran out with Army Corps of Engineers at the end of March 31st. And prior to March, I said, hey, our lease is coming due. Like, are you guys gonna send us something, or do you want to even renew it or not, or what? And they have all new people in their real estate office, so they wanted to schedule a time to come down and look at not only that, but all of the areas that we lease from them. And so we did kind of a site visit a week or two ago, I guess it was now. And so this is just a resolution saying that you're considering signing a 10-year lease for the Louisa County Conservation to continue management of Weikert's Landing from the United States Army Corps of Engineers. And then on the back, what they want is a list of who is allowed to sign the lease once it comes in. And so I just put the 3 supervisors, but if you want someone from the board on there, or if you want myself on there, like whoever you want to be a signatory, I can update this form.
What did you do last time? You remember?
I signed the, last time it was a renew, and I signed it because we did it at our board meeting. We didn't do it at a supervisors meeting, I don't think. But because we had a 10-year lease that went from 2002 to 2012. And then in 2012, we just signed an amendment to the lease. We didn't do a full lease. And so that was just signed by the board chair and myself, I believe, at the time. So, but you guys meet weekly, the board meets monthly. So, whoever wants to sign it, I guess, is fine with me. So the way I understand the process, we'll sign this saying that we're agreeing to that. Who can sign it? The Army Corps will put together the lease, then we'll have Adam renew that or review that after it gets done. And then that'll come back to whoever you want to be a signatory on that. As far as whether or not we continue to manage Weikert's Landing, that's completely up to you guys and the board. We don't make any money off it, but the chance of them deciding that they're not going to have that landing anymore if we don't take care of it is a good possibility, because it's so far out in the middle for them, away from everything that they have. So
I'm for admin, but I don't know if we're the ones that signed it as well in question. Because it's really a conservation decision. I think.
We've signed it before.
No, we
We
didn't.
haven't. I thought one of the members did.
The chair did it before. I just want to run that by Adam. We don't want to.
he's looked at this, but yeah, you
But I
can
don't
ask him,
know if
yeah.
we should be the ones signing it, as supervisors. I think it's more of a conservation decision.
Yeah, well,
I just be.
and you can, if you want to put on there,
Yeah, we got a week, so let me ask him on that, okay?
yeah, and if you want to put on here that you as both sign it, plus
Good.
plus the
Yeah,
board
that
chair or the
Good.
conservation director, that would be,
I just don't think it should be total less. I think conservation ought to have. input.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they would have you,
Oh, that's-
member, so.
and the conservation board would, ask you to sign it, I guess, is how I remember it.
because they should be the ones signing it first. If we do sign it, it shouldn't be that we admit them, but that's just my,
Okay,
feelings on it.
So
It
you
should
want it
go-
on the agenda next week then, or?
Yeah, and I'll get with Adam, and find out if it should go through, if supervisors do need to sign it, do we need to do it last, have the conservation chair sign it and then bring it to us, but it should go to vote, conservation, I would think, first.
Yeah.
You guys agree with that? Look at it, see if that's, okay. I'll talk to Adam, but I don't think we should be the sole signature. I think we ought to be either final or what your board asks.
okay.
Just want to make sure that we don't step on the toes. I'm for it. I mean, that's not why I'm bringing it up. I just think the board needs to make that decision. Conservation.
I mean,
Katie, what else you
I'm-
got?
I'm for it also,
Yeah.
as far as,
Yeah, we're not.
I think
saying against it.
we're gonna sign it, I would think, I would hope so.
We just didn't sign it in the past.
Okay. So then other updates, I'm gonna give you a quick Chief Walk days update. They're not gonna use the courthouse lawn on Thursday night anymore. On Saturday, they're still gonna be cruising, so there isn't a car show this year. It's a cruising, it's a different group. Terry Gillette is kind of leading that up, but they didn't find out about all of it until too late to order trophies and such, so there aren't gonna be prizes and such like that like they have in the past, but as long as it's not too wet, they're planning on using the courthouse lawn, and I think they've already asked and talked to you about that.
Sure.
But our normal music on the courthouse lawn is being moved over to the rodeo grounds, and so we're gonna have a band there, food vendors, fireworks, and then the lighted parade is gonna leave from the rodeo grounds instead of from the courthouse and the school parking lot this year, so. A little bit of changes. I brought a flyer that we can hang up in this building, and then I'll go take one over to the courthouse here after a while too, so. In terms of, we've been busy, of course, this is our crazy time of year, and so we did receive our final FEMA check. So that's good news. That means we're pretty much done with FEMA. I think all the paperwork is done. The final check showed up, so I think we're finally done with our 2018 FEMA disaster in terms of conservation. We're still waiting for the final reimbursement from the Hoover Nature Trail. All of that paperwork has been turned in. From what I understand, it's been approved. We're just still waiting for that check to show up. So that project is nearly completed also. Be nice to have those loose ends tied up here shortly. And then, other things, I'm working on the playground at Virginia Grove. I still have not received a single concrete bid for that. And so I'm getting it out on Facebook and trying to advertise it a little bit more. Lana was meeting with somebody the other day. I'm like, here, take them a bid packet and see if they'll bid on it. And so hopefully we can get a bid because we really need to get that work done. And working on, possible shelter there. Working on the playground or the campground at Virginia Grove and the stuff we can do there.
Would you need to work on that concrete?
Oh, what did I say? Oh, yeah, Eden Park, sorry, yep.
And what I heard on it, it was because the slope was too steep.
Oh, from the Columbus Concrete people?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said they don't have a dozer. And so a couple of the other contractors that looked at it with me, they said, oh, it's not gonna be a problem. We'll just shake this land behind it so that it drains to this side and that side. We'll put tiling underneath the playground and kind of run it down to the lower area and it should be fine. The Columbus Concrete, yeah, they set up some survey equipment and they said, do you realize it's 3 foot difference between here and here? And I said, yes, and I told them what other people were planning and they said, well, we just have a skid steer. We can't do, all that. And I said, you're welcome to sublet any part of it out that you want to or need to, that we've had that multiple times when we've done projects where people sublet and get, a dirt guy or whatever to come in and do part of the process. And so, yeah, I think that's why they didn't bid. I'm not sure about Homes and CNC and who's the other one. There was one other that I talked to previously.
Because I called a couple and they said it's just because it's not possible for what we was wanting to do as far as not going deep wall down because of the slope of the ground, even if you changed it quite a bit to get something that sit on the ground that they wouldn't have problems with. So I just bring it up. I just talked to them.
Yeah, well, and I asked him, I said, where would you put it? Like, is there a spot here? Well, nothing out there is flat until you get clear on top of the hill. So there's really nothing flat there.
I wonder if we'd be better off with parallel levels on here. Because everybody said that, because everybody said it's just due to the slope of the land, it would be almost impossible to do that.
Everybody said, who else said it besides?
Coleman.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, I didn't know that they'd even looked at it.
Yeah, they.
Okay. He never did call me back or anything, like, yeah, okay. Well,
Just, I think we just.
I
need to
can
talk
get
about it.
some, I can put out for some bids for dirt work and
I
see.
think we probably ought to do that and then call it concrete, but that's just my personal, that it would be better to give them a prepared site, because I think they're questioning how they're gonna do what's trying to be obtained to keep a level spot without putting a lot into it.
Yeah, and I heard that from the one group, but other groups said, like, this is a small job, so, you know, we have 5, 7 people on our staff, like, it's not a job to keep everyone busy, that it might be too small of a project. For some, I don't know, so that was one other comment I heard.
I have people do sidewalks all the time. It's just, I think there's some uncertainty there, just what I got from 2 people. So,
Yeah, yeah, this is kind of a complex thing too, because it takes a curve all the way around it.
and it really
And then-
falls off,
What's that?
and it's got a good slope on it, I understand.
Yeah, it's got some slope, and well, that's what the dirt work needs to correct. And then it has all these pads inside that have to be set in the right spot where anchors will connect to the playground equipment. And then the company that that provides the playground and the fall protection, they'll actually come in and put 4 to 5 inches of rock and the pad down, and then the fall protection stuff on top of
See,
that.
and it's gonna take satellite equipment to put that in there, so that knocks off probably the majority of it. I know Coleman has a facility to do that, where they'll bring satellite, because that all has to be spaced. They take the print you have from your playground equipment, and that has to be satellite loaded, and then they go in there and they mark each pin for playground equipment. I've done it twice, so it's kind of complex.
The stuff we have is separate chunks, so it doesn't have to be that exact, because it isn't like one piece. It's all individual pieces, so really they just need like one thing, and they take different size pads depending on how big the thing is, I suppose, to anchor it. So like Matterhorn Gap, it's pretty, I want to say it's like 18 inches deep. I'm like, that's a lot. That's a hunk of concrete. And some of them are like 11 foot long by 6 foot wide and such. And then you just drill and put your anchors in.
But it has to be placed exactly for the spacings. That's what I was getting at.
Oh,
The footprints have to be satellite downloaded. What they do is take the front, put it in there, and then the satellite tells you the points for your playground equipment. When you get your playground equipment, once they do it, it's set right into that area.
oh,
There's a
yeah.
little bit more to it.
Yeah.
That's,
Because like for our hollow log, it's just one log that's this big, so it doesn't matter if it's 3 foot this way or 3 foot this way, it sets on that pad, wherever you put the pad, so. But you do have to have your radiuses for fall protection, so yeah. Yeah, so that'll be an ordeal, and hopefully we can get that figured out and scheduled, because because of the grant money we have, we kind of need to get this done before the end of the year, and that's looking harder and harder with every setback, so.
so maybe that's something we need to look at, maybe get the ground level off. I think the other would come, but everybody just, like I said, two questions. The people I had a conversation with, so that's we didn't turn a bid in, they said because it falls too fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody else is thinking the same way, apparently, because nobody's good.
Yeah,
And I thought you'd get one back from Jamie. I haven't talked to Jamie.
yeah, I thought so too. Yeah.
Kerma,
Yeah,
I see him, I once will ask him,
Yeah,
I'll balance him about it, and ask him, I see him on station one, why he did it, and if, you know, maybe his reason is gonna be,
same.
well, if you had the site preparation, you would.
well, when he was out there that day, he didn't say that. He's like, oh, he was the first person that I met with out there, and he's like, oh yeah, you just turn this and, you know, anchor it down that way and run this down that way.
I'll see him here next day or two.
Yeah, go ahead and ask him, so.
What else you got?
Guys are trying to open Flaming Prairie today, so it's 4 foot tall grass in a lot of areas. So our goal is to have it open for sure by the 4th of July, but hopefully by maybe even this weekend. Between yesterday and today, we had a great big oak tree just fall over the road and stuff. So we're gonna have to do some checking on stuff like that. A lot of times when areas are wet like that long, it rots out the roots and stuff. And this looked like a fairly healthy tree that just tumbled over last night, and it wasn't insanely windy or anything, so not really sure. I'm gonna run down and take a peek at that today. Park patrol, of course, is in full swing. The sheriff's department's driving through all of our parks on their regular patrols, and that seems to be helping a ton with all sorts of issues that we oftentimes have. And so we're very appreciative of them just driving through. They don't even have to talk to anybody. It helps to set the tone for the whole weekend, it seems. So the naturals are busy too. Our nature camps are in full swing. Almost all of them are completely full, and there might be a couple spots left in one or two, but they've been going really well. Great attendance at Summer Rec. They were at Grandview the first week and had record numbers there. I think there was 18 or 20 or something like that. And so that was really good for Grandview. They had 3 days of Summer Rec this year. They're at Morning Sun this week, and they'll be rotating around to all the different cities that are involved in that program. So questions, comments, concerns?
Guys, anything else?
Back to you.
Thanks.
All right. Yep, I'll probably just hang the.
Okay. Window bids wasn't on.
Yeah, it's all over.
I'll be right back. Just a moment.
Whenever you're ready, buddy. Next week. Morning, sir. How you feeling?
I wish I could say I'm doing great, but I'm not.
Feel better though?
Yeah, I'm better off spoken here. I just can't get over this battle with this fever that keeps coming and going and kicking my rear. I got an appointment on Monday. Thank you. Follow up.
Good luck on it.
Got an audience today.
Yeah.
Then this is yours. Oh. Workload remains steady and increases with our effort with Muscatine County. I'm really looking forward to getting this guy accredited, which he'll have to do pretty much on his own. He'll do the virtual accreditation course in late August. So I don't foresee Muscatine County doing their own thing until early September. So that'll be a godsend. Right now, the budget is on mark. I mean, we're going to be right at it, but that's what we're at. Contact since our last briefing, this is changed significantly because I just haven't been in the office for the last 3.5 weeks. So I'm away for training and vacation. But anyway, 72 contacts. 2 home visits, 12 office visits. I haven't done any nursing home visits. I'm looking forward to getting back into that as soon as I can. Speaking of nursing homes, we currently have 26, 11 in the CJ. Yeah, those numbers are down. We're normally in the 30s, high 30s, 40s. But that's just the nature of the beast. I haven't seen it dip down this low since I've been here. Yeah, since I've been here. So Wapello has 11, Morning Sun has 1, 4 respectively. Flags for the fall went as I expected. I mean, we knew going in the door, we weren't gonna hit every cemetery. There's just no way. But our efforts were good. We planted approximately 641 flags. Yes, I mean, it does make it look nice. And next year's focus, we're gonna work on those hidden pioneer cemeteries, those ones that are rarely, if ever.
It's gonna take a major
It is,
commitment, there's a lot of work there.
yeah, it is, but if we do,
Yeah.
even if we do 1%, that's progress. That's effort. If I can light this fire and then keep it fanning those flames, maybe we can make it something that I know is well worth achieving. Great effort by my
Can I
committee.
say something on that? The Lone Tree has just went over there for Flag Day, and they have a program that they do with the private citizens. Just to generate money to help what you're trying to do.
Yep.
Forward is they charge, I think it's $30 a year, but all the celebrations of opportunities for flags, present 4th of July, Flag Day, Memorial Day, all that. They put the flags out. People pay so much money a year, and it
To
helps.
sponsor.
They help
Yeah.
raise money for this project possibly that could give you more effort that you can get additional help to.
I'd have to
I don't know.
maybe defer to Sandy on that. I don't know if I can go out and collect.
No, but one for VFW. or
Yeah, but the
something.
VFW, my American Legion,
Yes, that way it raises money.
and they donate it to me.
Yes, they give it back for this effort, because I know you're gonna have a lot of expenses and probably need some help, physical help, that you can maybe sponsor somebody to help you. I just think of that. I thought it was a great, very proud when you go over to a community like that, they had that group effort, from VFW did it over there. I think that's where it came from, but they went to citizens and citizens help support their programs, so just an idea.
Just don't want this, not in my lifetime of goals, but in the foreseeable future, us vets aren't gonna be around. And there's nobody gonna be like that. A good example would be the Grandview, Louisa County Vietnam Veterans Association, where they go, and I believe they have something in place. But once they're gone, I mean, it just,
Yeah.
I don't want that ripple to stop. I want it to continue.
We have to set things in place that will continue.
Yep.
Just an idea.
Absolutely, thank you. Fourth quarter assistance, I think we're remaining the same as the last report, we're total of 1,375, the vast majority of that is going for utilities, and I can only see that utility increasing as our inflation hits and our folks need assistance, and we'll continue to help them. Fan update is 61,000 miles. I've got a new candidate that called before I went to Texas for training. She's going to start her training and background in July, so that will add that will add a 6th driver. I've got a couple of drivers that are just, I mean, they're flexible. I can get a call at 10 in the morning for an appointment, get them set up. An hour later, it changes to a different date or a different time, and then other vets jump in, and it's a circus. It's a controlled chaos. Is the best way that I can look good. Yeah.
It's great.
But those drivers, they're just, I mean, they're on the fly, they make those changes. And I got a
So
couple, I got a couple drivers that get me this, but they drive. So that's key. Training travel, the last travel I did training wise was the national conference in Texas. I've been to Austin, San Antonio, rather, sorry, a couple of times. Each time I go, it's a new experience. The hotel block that I was on was right on the Riverwalk, and you can act, it's like a valley of, hotels, and then there's restaurants and all that along the Riverwalk. It's really nice. Man, it was hot. And it's nice to
it's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hot.
but every meal that you get is $30 plus. And, if you go off that beaten path, then you're going into no man's land. I mean, just getting from my hotel, which is one or two blocks away from the Alamo, which for the first time in my life, I actually got to go in there and do
You can reach over the wall, can't you?
the, yeah, well, before it was under maintenance, whatever, I've never been able to go inside to the tour. That was fascinating.
Wow.
That was absolutely
Wow.
fascinating.
I've been there many times.
Yeah.
You know, San Antonio is a conference capital city. They have more conferences than any other city in the United
I
States.
didn't know
Yeah. I think I've been there 11 times on that.
Well, they got it down. I mean, they got it going on. But the day that we went, I think it was the day before we left, Captain, I forgot his first name, Crockett, U.S. Marine Corps, in full uniform with other Marines, was there for some dedication. Obviously, he's a relation to Dave.
Yeah.
And he got on his knee.
Got the name to prove it.
Got on his knee, proposed to his girlfriend, and she accepted, of course. And so it was kind of a neat moment for everybody.
Okay.
Good experience. So anyways, our next VA commission is this Thursday, 23rd. And of course, as always, you're welcome to. Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your update. Yeah.
Get the feeling back. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, I don't like this weight loss program I'm on. I lost 10 pounds in 3 weeks.
So anytime you want a fat trance, I'm right here.
Well, I'm sure I'll put that.
Yeah. I can get- Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We got Bobby in less than 5 minutes.
She's on.
Oh,
Okay, good.
Bobby, Cindy, we can start with you guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Excellent.
Am I first or Cindy first?
Whoever.
All right. I can go ahead and go. Mine will be short and sweet.
Okay.
So I'll just quick go over the budget first. We've currently expended about 28% of our budget. However, as you know, Fund 10 will be closing out at the end of this fiscal year. So Tammy has been in communication with Sandy there and working on the transfer of those funds to the fiscal agent. So Fund 10 will be closed as of June 30th. And then we will have the sub-fund for all the salary expenditures for Cindy, who does the MHDS work for the region. So we have already submitted those claims to our fiscal agent. So checks will be coming to our auditors so that we have some startup funds and all of our sub funds in the county level. And of course, that's just so that we can maintain our county employment status. So let's see, as far as the governing board goes, we reviewed all of our finances and approved some claims. The governing board did make an allowance for us since there was an additional pay period in Des Moines County at the end of the fiscal year. So they allowed us to continue to process claims for providers as well as some administrative claims so that we could expend our fund balance through the end of the year. So that was very helpful. We were very appreciative of that. So we were able to expend over $1 million and get some of those expenses paid out of this year's budget. There was some legislation, I know we talked about this last year, to try to increase the fund balance allowance for the regions from 5% to 10%, but I think you all know that that language did not get passed. So we are still looking at that 5% requirement of our fund balance for next year. Although keep in mind, we still have another legislative session. So that could always happen next spring. And hopefully maybe the fiscal year 23 fund balance allowance will be increased next year. It's kind of our hope. As far as the Children's Advisory, they didn't report anything significant. However, we talked about the crisis stabilization residential unit that's available in Agency, Iowa to the CO region. They're under construction still, so that has not opened yet, but they're hoping to open that in the next couple months. So then that will be available to the youth who have some mental health needs and need to participate in that crisis stabilization home there. As far as the adult advisory group, they talked about we had an IPS, which is individual placement support services, which is a supportive employment service. We had a presentation at our stakeholder meeting last month to talk about that. Hope Haven is the provider of that. And it is specifically to assist in placing individuals with mental health needs into employment. And they're seeing some great success there. And that service is a pilot. It was a pilot project with Hope Haven. So they are one of the few providers currently in the state who have been providing that. And it's open to Louisa, Des Moines, Lee, Henry, and Jefferson counties. So we're thankful that we have that provider available. And they have indicated that they've served several people from the Louisa County area. We also talked about the new tiered rates that are going to go into effect. That's for those psychiatric inpatient care beds. And we had some clarification just so that you know, they're developing the standardization of how the payment for that will work. The payments and the tier rates will be available January 1st. So the first 6 months, they're going to kind of work on that standardization because any facility that meets the requirements for those beds now will be able to participate in the PIC beds. We call them PIC beds, but they're psychiatric inpatient care beds. So that kind of opens the door up to not only inpatient psychiatric units, but also to the EDs. So hopefully we'll have some EDs who are going to take advantage of that. And what that does is it provides them an increased rate through Medicaid for individuals who access and who are high need. Because as you know, we have difficulty placing people into those psychiatric beds who have high needs because they require some additional staffing. They have additional needs. Sometimes it may interfere with some of the other individuals who are in those other beds. So we're really hoping that maybe this is a step forward to help us to resolve having some of those people lingering in our local EDs. And if they are lingering in our local EDs, we can build a system of care around them because they will get an additional payment for them. We also completed our CIT relaunch meetings. So we did ours there in Louisa on the 31st. Had the opportunity to talk to some of the providers who provide the crisis services in the area. And Sarah had a chance to talk to us about the CIT services and the SEAL's direction in which we're going, and some of the CIT services that are available and trainings that are available to our local law enforcement, which includes the statewide group Joe and Ernie, who are, well, it was Joe and Ernie, and I think now it has someone else who's joined it as well. But they will be having trainings throughout the state. Once those are posted, we'll let folks know, and then they can participate in that training, which the SEAL region will fund. So that's crisis intervention training for law enforcement and emergency responders. We also talked a lot about the brain health, using brain health instead of mental illness to try to change the perception and to eliminate some of the stigma that's behind mental health. That's kind of a big movement right now. And we did talk to the governing board about promotional items, which they did approve for us so that we can start educating people, getting the word out about the mental health services, more about what we do. And some of that educational information will be on those promotional materials. And so we are looking at sharing some of that. Some of the CDSs, including myself and Cindy, will be participating in some of the fairs and also like farmers markets and things like that, just trying to pass out some of that information. So we were thankful that the governing board is supporting us and trying to change some of those perceptions and also get the word out about what we do and some of the mental health services in our area. So you may see some of that stuff floating around hopefully in the future. Also, we finished up all the contracting for the year. We tabled our legal representation RFP, so we will discuss that next month. The new legislation does identify that each region does have to contract with a hospital, so we are seeking a contract with a hospital with an inpatient psychiatric unit. So we're having discussions with 2 possibilities there. So we will be adding one more contract at the seal level for our region. Also, we talked a little bit about the commission. I think I told you this, but Sarah Merritt and also Jack Seward, who's a board of supervisor in Washington, are sitting on the MHDD commission. So that will be helpful for at least our region so that we are having some input into some of the things that the commission does, which includes reviewing legislation and giving recommendations to the legislators. Also, one of our board of supervisors, D with Jefferson County, is on a justice advisory board as well. So who will give recommendations to the legislators. Otherwise, I would say, services are still continuing as usual. We have put out another RFP just so that everybody knows for intensive residential service homes, which is a high level service for individuals who have not been successful in other placements, but don't need inpatient psychiatric care and do not require subacute services. It's more of a long-term support system for individuals who have significant brain health issues and need to have some additional support 24/7 in a home. So it is a Medicaid. There has been a Medicaid rate recently established for that because it's an intensive service, so it requires a higher rate. And then the region would also be able to fund that in the interim of Medicaid not being established. So hopefully we will get some responses back on that RFP. We had a couple of providers who were interested, and we would really like to see that available in our region. We still have a few RFPs out from last fall, if you remember. So there are some services and core services that we still need in Southeast Iowa. We just haven't had the provider capacity to provide those, but mobile crisis response is one of those. And we really hope that in the future, we're going to be able to support some of those services that we need. Other than that, I'll just say we are going to do another tour at the GuideLink Center, which is the Johnson County Access Center today, this afternoon. So some law enforcement will be joining me along with Ryan Wood, our CEO, to tour that center. I already toured it once with the jail transition team, but I'm going to tour it again with our law enforcement. And I was late to the game, but I did get it sent out to the Louisa County sheriff and also the jail director there, but I didn't get it sent out till yesterday. Other than that, Melissa Mace is the new jail director there in Louisa County. I think she's doing a great job. So she will be talking with the jail director as well as the sheriff and other crisis providers so that we can begin a crisis intervention team locally there in Louisa County, hopefully in the next month or two. We're starting to do those locally in every county now. Anybody have any questions?
Bobby, I got one as far as the board and your updates, is that going to start going away or be less frequent now since the state, or how's that going to change?
No, not unless really whatever you would like me to do. It's at your discretion. The funding of our system, sorry, the funding of our system has no impact. We still want to continue to educate at the local level. We continue to have leadership from the Louisa County Board on the governing board, who still is responsible for making all of our policy and procedures. Everything will stay the same.
I never asked that question. I just wanted to make sure I did, because the state now basically different funding sources. I didn't know what their plans were, and
Well, they're the money, but we're the decision. That governing board is still gonna be actively involved in all of this. So we'll have reports once a month. Because I'm still gonna be attending those meetings, and we're still making the decisions. We just aren't handling the money. Correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So,
you just wonder how long that'll last.
well, I don't.
So it's just a question I wanted to ask, and I
As
expect,
long as you would like us to, Brad.
I'd like to see you all the time and give us updates. I love your updates, but I didn't know the directive that you get from the state, so. You got more bosses now, so,
Yes, I do.
but
Well,
thank you.
thank you.
Always good to hear an update from you.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby.
All right, for general assistance. For foot and phone traffic in May, we had 75 phone and 20 foot. And that's pretty consistent with April. It was up higher in March. And moving on to our budget, for our general assistance budget for clients, we went over for funeral services. We budget for the year, and we saw a 5th one right in June, and actually a 6th one that I was able to push out to July for fiscal year 23's budget. So we only did budget 4 again for fiscal year 23, and we're already into 1. So we'll see what happens throughout the year, fiscal year 23. And then for the food pantry here for Wapello in May, there was 29 households, that was 75 individuals that were served. And then the mobile food pantry takes place, well, also with the food pantry, we had mentioned a little bit about furnace in the past, and then we talked some about air conditioners. So I just kind of wanted to keep that in your minds as far as whichever direction y'all decide with that building. But just kind of wanted to bring that up, and then we'll talk amongst our board too, as far as the pantry board, just to
I'll get
let them
some
know.
contractors to get some prices, pay more services right now, so I'll see if I can get there.
That'd be good, thanks. And then the mobile food pantry takes place tomorrow at the Briggs Center, and I'll be helping out there. I do have a meeting in the afternoon. In between the mobile food pantry, I'll run back here to the office, do a Zoom meeting for an hour, and then head back to the mobile to close her down. And then the community supper takes place Thursday evening, so we like to let clients know about that. We'll publicize that more at the mobile food pantry that takes place tomorrow. And then a change in the Salvation Army. I am the rep, as you know, for Louisa County, and it's been through the Heartland Division, which is out of Peoria in Illinois. And they're switching it over. Iowa is now going to go to Omaha, Nebraska as of July 1st, but we are able to keep our budgets because of the way their fiscal year runs. We'll be able to use our budget up through September for what we have right now through the Heartland Division. And then we'll switch over to Omaha and see, I don't know, they tell me more information is coming. They don't use the voucher system. It's a little bit different. So once I find out more, I will learn and let you all know. So that's all I got. Any other questions or any questions? All right.
Thank you
Melissa,
so much.
thank you.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you.
Thank you for your update.
Hi, Adam. Paul, how you doing?
Morning.
Morning. Morning.
We're gonna wait till 10:30
Yes.
exactly to the moment.
Yes.
While you guys are taking a quick break, I would just like to extend that invitation. If any of you would like to go up to the Johnson County Access Center today, you're more than welcome to meet us up there at 2 p.m.
Thank you. I cannot.
I can't, it'd be very interesting, though.
Okay.
It did, thank you very much.
I did the things.
Sure, yeah, no, I don't want to check. The ladies in the coach's office would give me a hard time if I didn't mention that their air conditioning is out.
Sorry.
Is anybody working on?
Millard's has been. Well, they're usually cold, so they should appreciate it.
I will tell them that you said
That's right.
that. As I was walking over there to drop some stuff off in your office, I ran into a guy who's retired from the Attorney General's office. His name's Pete Gray. He used to do trainings for prosecutors and cops. And he and a friend of his in retirement were going around to see all 99 courthouses. And so today they were down here checking ours out. So want to make sure he goes upstairs to see the big courtroom.
So we got the elevator broke, air conditioning.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well,
What
these
else?
guys are pretty
Handicap
ambulatory.
Oh, handicap.
Been working on that.
Okay, okay. Well, they're here more to see the history, but. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, the history is the elevator cost more to install than building the courthouse.
Was the courthouse built in 23 or 26?
I think it started in 23.
Right around there.
That's, so, yeah, so we're almost, it's almost 100 years old.
Yeah. You remember how old that air conditioning is? You know, has that guy's been replaced? You guys remember? Since you guys
Been
been
here as long as I have. those properties.
They put them in, I think, Vicki and I were both pregnant, so it must have been in Colin and Ashland. So
Collins.
26.
So it's something that needs to be on the radar. Of course, compressors, the main part of it. So. And they're hard to get right now.
The only reason I remember that is because we were standing by the window, we're standing there and also we saw people running and something dropped.
Did they put up with crane or? Okay.
We're like, well, that can't be.
That was good. Our safety personnel.
1928 is when it opened.
When it opened, okay. So we're.
He's an interesting guy. He's obviously very intelligent, well versed in the law, but he also is a big history buff. He does Civil War reenactments and stuff.
Well,
But if you ever drove, I went to several different courthouses and I tell you what, there's some beautiful courthouses.
There are, yeah.
I was impressed with the one in Jefferson County, but how they still use the
I've been there.
very little modifications. And the officers are broke up and they do a lot of things different for driver's license and stuff like that. But
I always think that about the Keokuk County courthouse.
yes, yeah, and so just, and then how the supervisor's offices, how they're all, some of them are just like what we used to have over there, instead of having separate buildings.
Yeah. I entered into Warren County and they had some serious courthouse issues not long after I left. It got shut down for a while. They had built a larger county and they had built a whole administration building off-site for the supervisors and a lot of the county offices. The courthouse was mainly, court system occupied by that time.
You know, you don't think about it, but these courthouses, most of them were built prior to the handicap and knowledge
Oh, yeah.
and how they had to retrofit. And some of it looks like it was just stuck there. It's not gonna last very long, so they just put an issue system in, like an elevator. Yeah.
well, in Lee County, with their two courthouses. The one in down in Keokuk, everybody wants an office on the inside, not the outside of it, because to put a new boiler system is gonna cost about this phenomenal amount of money. Somebody pulls up on the inside of the building where it's.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I know the county attorney's office is in, would be in the interior.
Interior office,
Yeah. And the board is too, I think. Unless there is the other bill.
We got a text that the grain elevator in Yarmouth collapsed with one person missing. Yeah, just for, maybe I shouldn't bring that up, but that's just what, Jimmy, you see anything? Nobody's
not good.
don't know what particular, I'm just kidding. What is there at? There's a big stone type elevator, is there not?
No, there's about a row of 6. I'm gonna say 300,000, 500,000 bushel bins,
Steel
but they're
bins?
still an old steel plate welded together ones.
Maybe that's what it is, the old welded.
They had that issue over there several years ago.
Did they, with those bins having problems?
Yeah.
Okay.
Into that.
Wow.
I think like cable ones that sold them and just got them back in the last 6 months.
Does anybody care if I read this? I mean, I don't think.
No, go ahead.
I was lying here. This must be on Yarmouth elevator. One elevator collapsed and one employee is unaccounted for. Fire deputies and ambulance en route. Update. Burlington Tech Rescue and Danville Fire requested also. Minneapolis ambulance en route. Update 2. 2 grain bin collapse. Med force requested on standby. Burlington ambulance also requested. Update 3, confirmed 1 missing. Update 4. West Burlington Fire Heavy Rescue requested. Update 5, Task Force 1 requested. Exhausted local resources. This is a prolonged operation. Update 6, Med Force taken off standby. Operations will be extended due to severity of the incident. Emergency management contacted in order to request collapse specialist team. That was just posted on some social media page or somebody's. I hope I'm not being out of line by repeating that here.
No.
You know, I can't guarantee you that's the official.
Was that fire
Word.
grounds?
Huh?
Was that fire grounds that you got? That on?
Friend of mine just texted me.
Hmm.
I don't know. No fire, no nothing. What is this? I don't know where that came from. But the way it's written, apparently that's somebody repeating dispatch or something. Wait, that's just not somebody commenting. No, but that's quite the deal. Okay.
See, there's actually 2 elevators in Yarmouth. There's one on the south end and one on the north end of town. And they're both-
There's a newer one on the south and the older one on.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's got a house right next to it.
Yeah, it's right in the midst of a residential community.
Let's see, well, hope everybody's safe.
It's sick about work. She must not have nothing to do. It's just she scheduled a short meeting. First of June, 2023.
Oh, I know, it's a meeting. Yeah,
I mean, if I've got 20 emails, guess where 15 of them come from?
you probably get 20 a day from, I will.
Yeah, I
Makes you
know.
feel popular.
June 6th of 2023 at 5 o'clock. I had a meeting.
Brian, our emergency manager's aware of that. He's, just standing by in case somebody would need any help, if there's gonna be any logs, this or that. He didn't know anything more than what I knew.
Mr. Kilgore,
Yes, sir.
I talked to, Hodges the other day, so we need to get together and put an agenda.
You write it up, I'll send it out for you.
I'll get something put together, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I talked to Mike a couple days ago. He's a pretty busy guy down at Keosauqua. Every time I talk to him, he's in Keosauqua mowing
Really?
or doing something down there. At his house, I guess, or his cabin. And then I gotta send out a memo to remind everybody about the meeting. Seems like it's been forever since we've met.
Yeah.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still waiting on the DOT to give us a date when they have for funding, so. But he wanted to have something in October, and I think we ought to have it sooner, because the funding's come out in September. I'll find out for sure, so we're gonna make decisions with that. Blessings from the.
We got a lot of stuff we need to talk about. We do. We gotta get closing July 8th, right?
Yes.
It's almost here. We're gonna get somebody out there to mow too.
A lot of upkeep.
Yeah.
Probably be good to put a security camera. And then we need to get that engineering part done, but we need. Did you share that letter? I didn't bring it in. I got one also too. Did you get one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I guess they just talked. You should use.
Anonymous letter.
Yeah.
Wasn't signed by anybody. Yeah,
I was gonna bring it in. I totally forgot.
I got it. I showed it to Chris this morning because I didn't know whether Chris got one or not. He got the same thing. So
Mine didn't come till Saturday. I don't
there's
know.
no big
Is
deal
that what
there.
you guys got?
It's me, when people don't sign their names, you don't give it much account, but
It's not even about.
they were attacking you, Chris, as far as I was concerned, so I brought it in to show you. That was a personal thing that I did, because I own business. I handed it to Chris. Said, "You get one of these?" He said, "Yep." So the county certificate.
or the census in
144,000 acres of improved land. Unimproved land, 78,000 timber. Working oxen. 91 pounds of tobacco made.
Yeah, we raised tobacco this far up.
Cheese and so. Sort of 51. Pounds of 158. That's neat stuff there.
Hops even. So they was-
Mhm.
Okay, it's now 10:30. Adam and Paul, I guess you have your board.
Well, the board would like to enter a closed session to consult with council about the removal of Sam Wilson from the conservation board, and how to do that. I can do that. If you have any questions about that, I'm happy to.
Yeah, that's the reason we tabled it, so that we could have this opportunity. And last week, Paul wasn't available, so we moved it to today. It does have to be taken care of today, correct? You table a motion, you got to the end of the next meeting to take care of it, or it dies and you start over, right?
That's correct.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, the motion would then die, but if that would prevent anybody from making another
Yeah,
motion.
yeah. But, so we need to continue with this. So I'll make a motion that we close this session for Iowa Code 21.5 parentheses C. Correct, Adam? That was your recommendation?
I think it's 1C.
1C, I'm
I
sorry,
made it.
written on here. I'm
How are you?
As long as I get it right.
You got a motion?
Second it.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to raise some objection, I guess, to closed session. Or I have some questions over it. First off, who are you going to be meeting in closed session with?
HR and attorney.
County attorney and HR.
Okay, the citation that you've issued it mentions counsel, which I believe probably is legal counsel. And I don't see how you can pick who you're gonna have in your closed session. And that would include Paul Ruth, I would think.
Would you address this, Adam?
Well, so going in to speak with counsel about litigation, there's a case, that Kether versus the city of Redland, that talks about a litigation being imminent and what constitutes imminent litigation. So I think this qualifies under that standard. Usually the board can invite resource people to be part of a closed session, that aren't part of the board. With this being, to consult with counsel, obviously the idea was the council would be present. I guess there's no law on this, but I guess my opinion would be that other resource people as needed could be invited to attend a closed session as well, which would include our human resources representative. I don't believe any court has ruled on that. I don't know that there's an attorney general's opinion on that issue, but that's my off the cuff first blush opinion on it.
Okay, then if that is the case, you mentioned the court case, and I know you advised me of that earlier. In that particular case, there had been a decision made. Is that not correct?
Well, my understanding is that the city council is considering revoking a building permit, and they wanted to go into closed session to consult with council about the revocation of the building permit, and then they ended up revoking the building permit and were sued by the party who had the building permit. But the recent litigation was imminent was because it was likely, as determined by the lawyer, that either the board or the city council would have to take action against the person with the building permit, or the person with the building permit would sue the city council for revoking it.
I wasn't sure on dates or anything that was in that. It had seemed like the zoning administrator in that case had actually already issued an opinion and had already rejected that building permit in that case. So there had been an action already taken, I believe. Unless I misread it. And so they went into executive session to discuss that action that had been taken. And my point here is there has been no action. There's nothing to litigate. This board has not taken any action. It's not even potential at this point because the board has not taken an action.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So the building permit was granted, and then the building official gave notice that it was to be revoked or rescinded, and then it was actually the Board of Adjustment serving as the body for the appeal wanted to go into closed session. I guess I don't see that as materially different from what the present facts are. The Board of Adjustment would be the equivalent of the Board of Supervisors in this case, because they're rather than an administrative official like the zoning administrator, it's a deliberative body, and they're acting in a quasi-judicial capacity and having a hearing, just like the Board of Adjustment would. So I guess I would say it's similar to the Board of Adjustment action, not the your action. It just so happens that in this case, there's no one official that can take an action before the board.
But I still think there was an action taken by an official.
There was, you're right.
And that was what was being discussed then at that point, was the action that had been taken.
Whether to affirm or reverse that.
Correct. And there has been no action taken by any board here, and there's nothing to litigate. So how can there be potential litigation or any imminent litigation if there hasn't been an action taken that can be litigated?
Well, the closest comparison would be, and there isn't an exact comparison, the closest comparison would be that the board made a motion and a second and was prepared to vote. And so that would be something of equivalent to the building administrative official making this decision.
So they would have to take that action in an open session. If they're going to vote to terminate or to end his appointment, they have to do that now in an open session before they can just go into closed session and discuss it.
Yeah, I mean, it's my opinion that that action is likely to result in litigation, and potentially is litigation, and that this body is making a quasi-judicial determination, whereas an administrative official doesn't make a quasi-judicial determination, it's an administrative determination. So, yes, it's my opinion that the board can go into closed session. You're absolutely right that the action must be taken in open session.
That's the same way you explained it to me. And I understand that completely. I think that, do you want to litigate this with Jim right here, or are we going to go into closed session?
Right, and the board is never required to go into closed session. It's a determination that the three of you have to make. But my advice is, I believe you are authorized by the law to go into closed session to discuss this matter with counsel if you so choose.
Well,
That's all I need.
I'm still objecting on some other grounds too, because you're going into an executive session, closed session, to discuss imminent or potentially imminent litigation. It also has to be a serious enough issue that it's going to affect your ability to defend that in court. And if it's just to discuss how the law reads, whether there are general grounds for dismissal. I don't see how those points can be detrimental to your case. I mean, there's two words that sound like they're the problem. And one was, I don't even have it in my mind now, but the comments that were described, everybody knows what they are. And the points that seemed like Adam raised before in the earlier meeting were whether that rose to malfeasance, non-feasance, whatever the feasances were. If those are simply going to be described in a closed session as to what those definitions are and that type of thing, it seems like that's not going to affect your case and be detrimental to anything. The other point I would still point out is you're still saying it's imminent or potentially imminent. How can you make that determination if the action hasn't been taken and you haven't gone through all of the processes that need to be followed? There's in the court case that Adam cited, there's a series of administrative appeals that are still available to Sam if that action is taken. And if he follows through with those, he still has to decide if he's going to make this a court case or not. Not you guys that make that decision. It's going to be who's removed. And I don't understand how anybody can say they know what Sam Wilson's going to do. That's when it becomes imminent, when he decides what he's going to do.
Somebody else would like me to comment.
I don't know.
No.
Julie to respond to that.
Go ahead.
You respond.
So what's going to be discussed in closed session is advice with counsel, which includes grounds for dismissal. It also includes potential defenses by Mr. Wilson. Those legal defenses, if discussed in an open session, might give him an upper hand or ideas that he didn't already have or his counsel in defending an action to dismiss by the board. So that's the reason for that being able to be discussed in closed session. The Redland case, the statute does say litigation or litigation is imminent. The Redland case interpreted that to mean if litigation appears imminent. So if the counsel for the body determines that litigation appears to be imminent, not that it's going to happen because no one has a crystal ball, but that it appears likely, then the board can go into closed session to consult with counsel.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah, we're gonna do this off of your recommendation. You're saying we can. County attorney said we can.
And I would note, I would never suggest that it would be legal for the board to go into closed session if I didn't believe that it was.
Yes. Yes.
But once I've made a determination that the board may go into closed session, either in the minutes or in writing, which I believe I've done both,
Yes.
then the board is defended, is exempt from a violation of open meeting law based upon going into closed session legally on my advice.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a motion to go in closed.
Can I make a comment?
No.
I will say, I'm going to make a comment. You aired all the dirty laundry last week. You did not give me the affordability of closed session. I think the rest of us needs to be open.
Who's that?
No idea. They don't even identify themselves. You know, we're gonna let somebody scream and yell at this meeting.
I got a motion
I already seconded it.
to go in closed session.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very closed session. So, and those of you not pertaining to this, I ask you to please excuse yourself.
Are you gonna come back in?
Go back and open meeting.
You should vote.
Okay, Chris.
Oh, we can go ahead. Do you want to let everybody else come back in?
You had a motion to reopen the regular meeting, go out of closed session in a second, but I don't think there was a vote.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, it's
I see where
okay.
you're going.
I see what you were saying now.
Who's gonna come in and ring the bell?
I was trying to get things going.
Yes. Yeah, no worries.
Time's up.
No, you can say there, you can say there.
Yeah, old business.
Old business, yeah, I've got one.
Can I ask if,
Go ahead.
Okay, you just did old business. Old business, I would like to take the action and the second that we made last meeting off the table and bring it up for a vote. So I'm taking it off, asking to take it off the table and bring it up to a vote. We have to have a second for that.
Yes.
But I want to amend my motion.
You will,
I have to lift it from the table first.
you have to take it from the
Okay,
table.
I'll second to lift it from the table.
Now it's off the table.
You have to have a vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now I want to amend my motion for the removal of Sam Wilson from the Conservation Board because of false allegations that constitute malfeasance.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Can I ask a couple of questions while you're still in open session? False allegations, by what do you mean by that?
You want us to
Adam?
answer?
Answer the question for us.
Well, that'll be delineated in the written order would be my understanding.
So what is the process and that's going to be followed?
There'll have to be a written order issued by the board removing Sam Wilson from the Conservation Board and advising him of his right to hearing within 30 days. That will have to be sent to him by the auditor.
So is that, that would be a public document then?
Yes,
That would
it
be
will be once it's issued. Yep.
issued. And when would that be?
I don't know.
How many days have we got to get that done?
There's no time limit. I mean, obviously, the time doesn't start until the order is issued, so.
And I'm out of the office all the rest of the week as soon as I get back and get stuff done, so.
Yeah, the order will have to be drafted or modified. It'll have to be signature by one of the, probably the board chair, and it'll have to be transmitted to Sam, and then it would be released to the public.
Yes.
So I'm a little bit confused. You voted to amend the first motion and approved that. Do you have to vote on that again? Because you just voted to amend the motion.
I think
No, we
Chris
did.
moved to amend by consent because he was the maker of the motion and the seconder agreed. And so the motion was then amended and then they voted on the amended motion.
So you think that they voted on the original motion to amend, after they amended the original motion?
That was my understanding of what happened.
Yeah, we amended. Chris made the motion to amend it. And I agreed to it.
By consent, and then you voted on the original motion as amended. That would be
Yeah, and
my
then we
understanding of
voted
what
on the original motion as amended, and he read it off. But he added the wording in there. Adam, we okay?
That's my understanding.
Randy, do you understand yet, or?
I'm a bystander.
You got as much right comment as Jim does, so.
Well, I didn't, you was going fast enough, but maybe I missed part of it. But it seems to me like you voted, you seconded Chris, his amendment to the original motion, but the original motion never got voted on.
That, if that's unclear or is gonna be unclear in the minutes, maybe you just need to vote again.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
it happened pretty quick too, but I think we did, but I'll make sure we do.
we could go back to the recording there. I thought that we,
I think so too, but if
Let's
it's,
just make sure we do.
okay, we need to redo something here to make
Just
sure that we got it right.
Read your motion again that you changed, and then we just gotta get a second and then vote on it. Correct? Just to make sure.
Correct? Is everybody all right?
Okay.
He asked to
Go ahead with your
amend his
motion.
motion.
Yep, we already got to that point. Now you gotta make that motion why you wanna remove them, so go ahead. So, we thought you did, but we just wanna make sure that we do it right.
Did I make a motion to remove Sam from the conservation board because of false allegation that constitute malfeasance?
Correct. You get a second.
I second that. Now, all we're doing is seconding,
His change.
we second the change, we're correct?
well, the motion has changed to the extent that wasn't done before. I think it was, but this would be the amended motion.
Yeah. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion.
Okay, I have another question then, yeah. Okay, if he appeals, does the position remain open or is it open, or does he remain on the board under appeal or is he off and they can fill that open seat?
My understanding, and we went through this last time too, the statute's not super clear, but I think the person is removed immediately, but I would recommend the board wait until this is, at least the first step in the appeal process is behind us before they appoint somebody new.
Mhm. Yeah, the first hearing, because we could change our mind at the hearing.
Right.
Correct?
Right, if there is one.
We gotta reaffirm if there is a hearing, we're gonna listen to what everybody says, or whoever saying whatever, and then we'll reaffirm our decision. Then at that point, could move forward.
Motion to.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Adjourn.
Be back on Tuesday.
Thursday.
Yeah, then, right?
Thanks, Paul and Adam.
Yeah, thank you, guys.